Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast. I'm your host, Jill Hart, and with us today is Dr. Tanya English, who is a soul chiropractor. She intuitively scans your chakra systems and gives you a holistic view of yourself. She then grounds the healing work in anatomy and physiology so you can understand how this happens. She trains her clients in doing techniques that they can use themselves and then practices them together with you so that you feel comfortable doing it yourself. Welcome to the show, Dr. English.
Thank you so much, Bill. I'm so happy to be here. I just want to let people know I'm outside, so there might be a car go by or something like that. So I know it doesn't look like I'm outside. I'm at my friend's house. So thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So great to have you here. And you did give me a sneak peek around the whole patio setup before we got started. And I know this is a podcast, but she's got this really cool zodiac motif going on behind her. It really does look like she's got a screensaver back there or something.
Yeah,
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So how did you get into becoming a soul chiropractor?
Well, I started doing a technique called bioenergetic synchronization technique that works on subconscious emotional memories that are overriding present time. So this is a memory that has gone in with intense emotion or chronically over and over again, and it becomes a pattern of physiology that's memorized by the body. So if there's a trigger that happens, it just goes. And I was working with a client, and he said, when he introduced me to his girlfriend, said, "This is Tanya. She's a chiropractor. Well, she's a chiropractor for your soul." And the week before, one of my mentors had said, "It's like you're a soul chiropractor." And I said, "Okay, I'm going to trademark that because it's starting to show up independently in the universe." So that's how I got to that.
I love how the universe can just bring us the thing that we need when we need it. And all we have to do is kind of like tune in a little bit. It doesn't even have to be a lot.
No. And the reason why I decided to put it on my cards and trademark it is because what we're really working on is your energy. And what is your energy? It's your spirit or your soul. It's what makes you and animated. And so when we're working on that, we have to look at feelings and emotions because that's what's creating our physiology all the time.
It's such a great point. It's something that over the last few years, I've really come to appreciate. And that's the thoughts that you have, they create your physiology.
Well, let me just say a thought doesn't generally have a feeling attached to it necessarily. So you can have a thought like the sky is blue. I don't have any emotion attached to that, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if I say something else that has emotion attached to it, that's going to create the physiology. So the way that we test that is through muscle testing. So I can have somebody say, "Okay, think of a beautiful day." But when Dr. Mortar, who developed this technique probably over 60 years ago, he asked people to think of the ocean. Well, what if you almost drowned in the ocean? So he started to say, well, we got to think of something more neutral. So think of a beautiful day. And then we muscle test to see how the body's responding to that thought. Now, if there's feelings attached to thoughts, then you're going to get a response for sure.
Interesting. Interesting. So, and you can do this over the internet. Do you teach
Yeah.
others how to do the muscle
Yes,
testing, or
because
do you muscle
it's
test more?
amazing. Yeah, muscle testing is really simple. All you have to do is rub your thumb and your finger together and say, show me a yes, and feel what it feels like. And then show me a no. And you can see it's sticky for me when they say, show me a no. Car.
Interesting.
but you have to make sure that you're checking that yes and no, because it can change too when things are going on. So a yes for me is smooth and a no is sticky. So when I'm doing this with somebody's arm or I'm doing it with them over the internet, I ask them to think about certain things, and I'm using a surrogate to be able to do that. I have a doll that I use that makes it really simple for me to do it really fast. So I'm not just using my hand all the time, because I'm writing as well. So yeah, anybody can do muscle testing. Yeah.
I just used to do sway testing, and I realized that most people sway forward for yes and backwards for no, but I'm opposite.
That's why I tell people you got to check, because sometimes you'll switch. And usually when I'm working on somebody and a switch happens, that means there's some big healing going on.
Oh, that's interesting. Really
yeah. So if you're switching around a lot, so you're always going back. And the question that you're going to ask always starts with, is it to the highest good for me to blah, 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 or whatever? And then yes or no, you get it, one or the other. So you ask for your yes and your no, and then you ask, is it to the highest good for me to do this? And then you check your answer.
I like the finger testing, because normally
you can do
I
it like
used
this
to do
too. You can do it like this too. You take your middle finger and try to press your index finger down. Show me a yes, and I can hold it there, and show me a no, it goes right down. No. Yes. No.
My fingers don't seem to work that way.
Well, that's why I show people all different ways to do it. So you could do it like this too. You take your thumb and your pinky together and you try to pull them apart. Show me a yes, nice and strong. Show me no, pulls right apart. That's harder because you're using two hands. So I like one hand.
Yeah, that's what
I'm at the grocery store. If you're at the grocery store and you're like, is it the highest good for me to buy this broccoli? Oh yeah. How about this ice cream? No.
I like it because I really shouldn't eat broccoli, so I get a no for broccoli.
You might get a yes for broccoli sprouts though, because broccoli sprouts have a lot more sulforaphane in them, and they're really healthy for you.
I like to grow them. I like to grow the sprouts for a lot of different things, because they're just so delicious. Like sunflower seeds.
Yep. They have a lot more of the good chemicals in them that are in the actual fully grown thing, but more in the sprouts.
Yeah, it's more intensified, and it has all of the growth hormone in it. Yeah, because they need a lot more in the beginning to.
Exactly.
I love gardening. I love seeing each year what the garden's going to bring me.
It's like a magic trick that the earth does.
I have a bunch of tomatillas. I know we're way off course now. All right, circling back around. So when you're working with people, and I think the chiropractor name or title is perfect, because chiropractic is a place where we remove interference from the body. So you want things communicating well, you remove the interference. It's just like tuning in a radio dial. You want to hear a clear channel. You don't want a lot of static. That's what we're doing with the body. So when he said soul chiropractor, I was like, yeah, we're clearing out the stuff that's keeping you from being able to receive, because this is a receiver and a transmitter. You're dialing it in so you can receive from source of all it is. To receive that information, you can also transmit what you'd like to receive too, but not unless you're clear. Create the reality that you're experiencing, and we're always creating a reality, whether we enjoy it or not. It's totally up to us. Yeah. I love your
Yeah.
creative abilities over there. So
Yeah.
what is suppressing negative feelings do to a person over time? So if
It
you're,
creates disease.
yeah,
Pure and simple, it creates disease. If you have a negative feeling, like let's say, well, I just had a new client in the other day, and I asked her what she was dealing with, and she was dealing with some urinary tract and bladder kind of stuff. And so I asked her what happened to her because something happened to start that. And sure enough, she had been raped twice. So I asked her, I said, did you ever have any therapy for that? And she said, no, I just tried to forget it. I said, that's impossible. You can't forget something that happens to you. And the more you press it down, the more it's going into the body and it's going to express itself in some way. So that's what we're dealing with. Perfect example of what happens when you don't deal with your negative feelings. That happened over 30 years ago. She's dealing with the negative effects of never having talked about it, gotten any kind of help for what she went through, any kind of assistance in healing that situation. And this is what she's got. So that's a really specific and perfect example of how that works. The body will not get rid of that physiology. It will submerge it so that it's subconscious. You're not consciously aware of it. And so the body keeps doing this over and over again, trying to get attention on that. So it makes it really difficult.
so how do you change it?
Well, what you do is you get help with that because, when two or more people come together, there's source with us. And so we want to have that kind of assistance, someone to come alongside and help us walk through that. So I'm not going to tell her, okay, I want you to tell me everything about what happened. I'm going to ask her body, mind, spirit, through muscle testing, what's the door that's open here? What door can I go into that will be open already? So I'm not trying to knock something down.
Mhm.
I'm trying to honor what the wisdom of her body is doing because the body has wisdom. I mean, how is this a fingernail cell and not a liver cell? The body knows. So this is the innate wisdom that we're born with. We talk about that a lot in chiropractic philosophy. Innate wisdom. Every cell knows what it's supposed to do. When we start to remove interference, like these subconscious emotional memories that are overriding present time, I'm going to say it a bunch of times because it's a big concept. These are memories that are emotional. So you think she was in fear? Of course she was. So she had all the stress hormone going. What happens when you're in fight or flight response? Your digestion shuts off. Your immune system shuts off because you don't need it if you're running away from a tiger.
Right.
And bladder control shuts off. Right. And also your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, your pupils dilate so you can really see what's going on around you. All of these things happen. And now it's a subconscious pattern because it went in with intense emotion. So the body's going to memorize that and say, if that ever, anything like that ever happens again, I'm going to do this physiology. And it's right there. It's sort of like the RAM, like, when you are on your computer and you want to see a picture that you've already seen, it's in the RAM. So it can come right back up. It doesn't have to go through all the things it has to do to find the picture. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So,
And
this physiology of fight or flight response is going on. Now, to come out of fight or flight response takes hours if you don't do anything about it. If you just go, okay, I'm just going to sit and I'm going to relax. Well, your body doesn't do that quickly. But what I teach my clients and my patients to do is to do 4-count breathing. So the reason why EMT workers have a 10-year shorter life expectancy than the general public is because they're in fight or flight response and they go into these dangerous situations. That's why people get PTSD. They go into a dangerous situation. They have fight or flight, chemistry, digestion shut off, right? Immune shut off, pupils dilate, urinary bladders shut off. All of that stuff is not now under subconscious control, not conscious control, because in fight or flight, you don't have that control. In fight or flight, you can't make a good decision. In fight or flight, you can't think straight. You can't have logical, common sense thought because you're in fight or flight. Now, to get back to rest, digest, and heal, to get back to rest, digest, and heal, we do 4-count breathing. So it's inhale for 4 counts, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, then hold it in for 4 counts, then exhale for 4 counts, then hold it out for 4 counts, and all through the nose. Because if you're breathing out of your mouth, it's not in your sinuses, and your sinuses are shaped in spirals so that the air moves very quickly back and forth. So it speeds up the air. So as you're breathing in,
stimulates your brain.
Yep. So you want to do 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold. Now, anybody that's listening to this later, if you can't make it to 4, make it to 3. Do what you can. And here's the most important thing. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself. I'm doing it wrong. Don't do that. Just do the best you can and be happy that you're doing it, because breathing is the most important thing for us to be alive, right? We can live without food for a while. We can live without water for a while, but 4 minutes without breathing. So putting your attention on your intention, which is to live and breathe, there's no tension.
When I learned box breathing, that was the secret to sleeping at night.
Mm-hmm.
I do it every night before I fall asleep. That's how I fall asleep at night. It's
right.
No need for anything. And if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can do it then too.
Do it again. I do tapping at night. If I wake up in the night, I'll tap, doing EFT, emotional freedom technique. I'll tap. I'm getting restful, rejuvenating sleep. I'm safe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm safe. I'm loved. I'm fine. I'm getting restful, rejuvenating sleep. Deep REM sleep. And I'm safe. And pretty soon I'm back to sleep.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I teach my clients and my patients. Patients come in the door and clients are people I see online.
So let's talk a minute about how physiology works with your emotions. What is the triggering mechanism with that?
Every time you have a feeling, there's a physiology that goes with that feeling. So all positive feelings are under the heading love. All negative feelings are under the heading fear. So if you have bliss, that's under love, right?
Mm-hmm.
But accurate is also under love. Bliss and accurate are not the same. They have different feelings. They're different. Mm-hmm. But you have a different physiology for each one of those. So when I'm telling a person that I'm working on, I want you to think, and this is their body's giving me the information, and I use a chart of feelings that has 140 feelings on it. And I ask through the muscle testing, which feeling is going to unlock this pattern that's stuck here. And I get, say, the feeling, what was it? It was virtuous. Now, I have people that when I say, I want you to think of feeling virtuous, and they start laughing because they're like, oh, I'm not virtuous. But I want you to think of a time when you felt that, you witnessed it, or someone around you felt that. Mm-hmm. While they're thinking of that, I'm also finding what kind of breathing they should do, in or out, holding it in or out, or doing 4-count breathing, where their eye placement should go, because eye placement corresponds to different areas of the brain, mm-hmm. and where I'm going to contact them on their head, either here, or some combination. And then while they're holding that thought, that feeling, and they're thinking of times when they felt it or witnessed it or someone around them had it, that pattern of physiology gets broken. So it's like dissolved, because now we're doing something different and their body is like, that's not the pattern, and we are causing a pattern interrupt.
Do you find that you have to go back and re-cement that? I know, like in regular chiropractic I shouldn't call it regular physical chiropractic, they manipulate your spinal column and
Yeah.
your
So
bones, but your
here's the thing.
muscles will pull it back.
The muscles are under subconscious control.
Mm-hmm.
So why not just work on the subconscious? Because if they're going to pull it out anyway, and you're going to have a trigger that says, oh, that's like when I got hit by a red car when I was riding my bike when I was 8.
Mm-hmm.
Adjusting it is going to be great. Adjusting and making the joints move easily in the way that they're supposed to move, that's great. But what we want to do is go even farther back. Okay, so if that's being pulled out of place because it's getting triggered, that's the subconscious running the body through a feeling that is from the past. Wouldn't you rather be in present time instead of doing stuff from the past? That's like driving your car and looking in the rear view mirror to see where you're going. That doesn't work so well.
Question is more that will one time do it. Like if you're talking to somebody and they've got something going
sometimes
wrong.
it is one time, but usually there's layers of stuff going on. Like
Okay,
I might have the same feeling come up 5 or 6 times with a person. It's just another layer that we're clearing away. It's just another layer we're dissolving. And what's underneath all those layers? That's the next question, right? We clear all the layers, what's left? Well, your perfection is left. Your joyful beingness is left. And you can just be in present time and live your life instead of having to recreate the past all the time.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a
do
lot.
too. I do too. I'm a little addicted to it, actually.
So how do you work with people? Is it one-on-one? Is it in communities? Is it in person? Is it online? How
I
does all
do
that
it
work?
online and I do classes and I work with people individually. When people want to work in the groups, I do groups of things too. So sometimes I'm presenting to a group at like a retreat or a seminar, and I can work with them there. But generally, when people want to get really specific, then I work one-on-one with them. Yeah, and I say, okay, we're going to be doing one-on-one work, and I do it in a series. So we have some consistency, because you can say, I want to go to the gym and lose 20 pounds, and you'll feel great if you go work out once, but you won't lose 20 pounds. That. So what we want is some consistency so people get used to what healing feels like, because most people aren't that used to it. They don't really know what this feeling is. People sit up after their first adjustment with me and they go, I feel so calm. I feel so peaceful. I feel so light. Colors are sharper. Everything looks better. This is what happens. I had somebody recently that I was working with, and he said, this is the first time I've ever felt like I belong in my body. Guy's in middle age. This is the first time. I mean, amazing.
Energy work is so powerful.
It's incredibly powerful, and people want to dismiss it, but listen, your energy, that's the essence of who you are, your energy of what you are. And why not just start there? So I was a massage therapist, and I was like, this is great. People are relaxing. This is awesome. I was working in a chiropractic office. I could see how people would respond to both massage and the chiropractic. Oh, this is great. We get the muscles relaxed. We get the joints back where they need to be, where everything's moving properly. But they keep coming back. And so what's happening here? I need to go further. What's causing that? It's always emotion. And here's the really amazing part is when you start working on this, you start seeing how other people are handling their emotions. And that gives you a window into them that you can relate to. So you can have compassion for them. And when we have compassion for ourselves, it overflows to everyone around us. So it's pretty amazing what can happen for people when they do this work.
And that part can happen very quickly.
Yeah, it's like instant.
It's a decision almost of
It,
This is
yeah, it's really interesting because what'll happen when I'm working with somebody is I'll say, okay, I want you to think about this, put your eyes over here, do this breathing. And while they're doing that, something shifts in their beingness, I want to say.
Mhm.
And when they're done, they lift their head up, they put their head back down, and I say, okay, think about that situation we were working on. And they're like, yeah, I can't even really think of it. They can't put their mind on it. Think about the argument you had with your daughter when you were, or your mom. I always say my mom when I was 15. Think about that. Ugh. And then after we do this, I'll say, think about that argument. Yeah, it's just way back there. I can't really get to it. That's pretty powerful when you can change the way a person thinks about something.
Mhm.
So that's what we want to do. We want to help people release those thoughts that have been nagging at them, those thoughts that keep coming back and saying, why won't you pay attention to me, and nagging at them. And what I tell people is when those things are coming up, that means that it wants to be healed. You can't forget what happened. But here's what can happen. We can get it so you don't have any more emotions attached to it. I had childhood sexual abuse. See how easily I say that? That's because I don't have any emotion attached to it anymore. It happened. It may be who I am. Was I happy that it happened? Of course not. But can I find the good in it? Yes, I can find the good. And that's the key. I had a stillbirth in 1994 when I was just finishing chiropractic college. And I was laying there in the bed and a thought came in my head. I will say, I don't know if I thought it or if it showed up. Do you really believe everything happens to the highest good? Or are you just saying that? And I thought, well, I'm going to believe that everything happens to the highest good. So show me the good. Let me see what's good out of this. And it's just been a well of blessings ever since. All kinds of good things came out of that experience. The band came out of that experience. Healing came out of that experience. Being empathetic with people who've been through that. Knowing how to be compassionate with people. It's all come out of that. And the experiences that I had when I was a kid, too. Everything can be used for good. That's why when people say, what's your, if they ask you, what's your favorite scripture? I say, James 1:2, count it all joy. Just count it all joy. Because there's joy in there. If you look for it, you have to seek it. You have to look. Sometimes you really got to look hard. And sometimes you have to wait to go through some of that before you can look. Because when it first hits you, you're not going to go, okay, well, what can I learn about this? I have that observer's mind. So I'm like, okay, I'm watching myself in the hospital bed going, why is this happening to me? What am I supposed to get out of this? What am I supposed to be learning?
Be still and know that I am God.
Exactly. And also it's like, if you look at everything like that, you're always learning and you're always adding to yourself, not taking away.
Mhm.
It's really true.
It is true. It is true. I know that you have put together a little mini course for people. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's called the Powerful Personal Affirmation. And it's a little audio, and there's also a PDF that goes with it. So if you don't want to listen to my voice, you can just read it. And it tells you exactly how to write an affirmation that's perfect for you. And then to use that powerfully, you can tap on it. You can say your affirmation and tap on the affirmation and let whatever feelings come up. Notice what the feelings are, write those down, tap on those. But the affirmation thing, the reason why we want to do affirmations and use affirmations is because most people have had a whole lifetime of negativity. This person I was talking about who had had these terrible things happen to her in her life and was suffering with dis-ease in her life. Don't you think she'd do better if she had some kind of affirmation to help her move through that? Instead of thinking, I just want to forget. I just want to forget. I just want to forget. Here's a thing. This is when I say never say this. And I don't say never and always very often, but never say I'll never forgive myself. Because that's just like holding a knife to your throat and holding yourself hostage. Don't do that. Instead, say, I'm so thankful that I can learn from every situation that I'm in. I'm so thankful that I can turn tragedy into treasure. I'm so thankful. Helps it build a space for what you want to drop into your life. So I'm so thankful.
Statements.
I am. Anything you say after I am is extremely powerful. So watch what you're saying. So the I am statements that we're doing is, I am so thankful, let it drop in, that I have amazing clients who have amazing healing experiences. Whatever it is that you want.
Yeah. And whatever you need to believe too, I think is, like, I know for me personally, when I was really struggling with some experiences that I had in my past, I come across Marissa Peers and her I am enough statement. And she said, just write it on your bathroom mirror. So I wrote it on my bathroom mirror, and my family came by and they're like, me too, I'm enough. Yeah, me too. So we've got all these affirmations that we've all written on the bathroom mirror.
Yeah, you might have noticed in my water bottle has all these words on it. They're all positive words. That's what's going into my water.
And
whenever
it empowers
I drink
your
water.
water.
Yeah.
And then
I see
then
it
you're drinking
yep,
it.
that's right. Love, compassion, respect, peace. Yep.
Yep.
It's all there. So what happens is we can change that energy about what's going on with us. And you all know, when you walk into a room and there's somebody who's sitting there that's depressed, you can feel it. Your intuition is working all the time. Are you listening to it? That's why I do energy scan training with my mentor, Daniel Hanneman. We're doing a class in a couple of weeks on how to, actually it's at the end of September. I keep thinking it's September already. At the end of September, on how to do energy scanning. It's using your intuition and picking up what you're getting and saying, okay, this is what I'm getting here. You check with the person that you're practicing with, and they say, yep, that's right. It's amazing what you're picking up. Anybody that has any interest in exercising their intuition and giving it more power, this is a great class for them to take, especially if they're already doing healing or coaching or anything like that. But if you're interested, just send me a note.
And that brings us to, how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can go to the website, quantumhealinginternational.com. You can go to Facebook, which is Facebook. I'm under Quantum Healing International and also Dr. Tanya English. So it's Dr. Tanya English. So it'd be facebook.com/Dr. Dr. Tanya English, TANYA. You can find me on Instagram at Dr. Tanya English or at Healing with the Blues. And yeah, you can use any of those ways to get in touch with me. I'll even give you my phone number. It's 319-325-HEAL. And you can send me a text. Don't call me, but send me a text and let me know what you want to talk to me about. And I'll direct you where you need to go. I do a free consultation for people that they can sign up for. All you have to do is go to the website.
Awesome. This has been very enlightening. I really appreciate you joining me. What's the one thing that you hope the audience takes away from our conversation today?
Healing is always available, and you can find treasure in tragedy.
For sure. We'll leave it with that. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Jill. I appreciate you and all that you're doing to help people be heard. It's big.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the U World Order or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.